if you think on the one hand, fake news doesn't necessarily convince people, right? But to a disturbing degree, it can succeed in setting the agenda. It's an attention hijacker.
It's one of the U.S. president's favorite terms, but fake news has been around for far longer than Donald Trump. Under him, however, there's been a proliferation of conspiracy theories, half-truths, and outright lies in American political discourse. And academics warn it's not just a danger to America, but to the very health of Western liberal democracies.
You can think of misinformation as the secondhand smoke of social media, right? It damages the quality of public life and has far-reaching, long-lasting consequences if it's not addressed. And there are direct costs to democracy, which apply to both Canada and the U.S.
Meg Stalcup is an anthropologist who studies new media and says it's important to differentiate disinformation from misinformation. Misinformation is someone spreading a falsehood, sometimes without knowing it. Think of the common myths that Albert Einstein failed math or that lemmings leap off cliffs. Disinformation is a bad actor spreading something they know is untrue with the intent to deceive. Russian bots, conspiracy theories, they can come from domestic or international sources. But the result of both is to encourage distrust. During an election, essentially one large exercise in public trust, that's especially dangerous.
The process from vote to prime minister in our country or president in a different country is completely opaque. And yes, it is infused with trust.
Patty Leonard studies ethics and public trust. She says people previously trusted that they had the same facts and knowledge that politicians use to make decisions. But if the waters are fouled with disinformation, people can be taken in by vested interests.
The facts, which used to be sort of taken for granted, and which it used to be the case that we could just count on our political actors to interpret, are now under dispute. And they're under dispute by political actors themselves, but also by various types of organizations which have interests in cultivating particular orientations in a population.
Disinformation and misinformation aren't just viral trends, but informing real-world conduct. In 2016, a Washington, D.C. pizzeria was the site of a shooting by a man who believed the restaurant was being used for a child sex trafficking ring involving the Clinton family. There are at least 10 American congressional candidates who have expressed support for the QAnon conspiracy theory, which alleges Donald Trump is secretly battling a global network of pedophiles. Leonard and Stalcup both caution Canadians are not any more immune to disinformation than Americans. But Barinder Balar is more optimistic. He's a former policy director under BC Premier Christy Clark and says these efforts just don't work on Canadians.
There are outliers in Canada, but by and large, I think Canadians are compassionate people. I think there's more that brings us together than divides us. And I think that that sort of sentiment will be rejected in Canada. And it's been tried by some political leaders and they've not been successful.
In Ottawa, Xiaoli Li, City News.